Please remain standing as you're able. Remove your hats as our senior singers present the national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Jay Brennan. I am currently serving as the interim head of school at John Bapst Memorial High School. Members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, faculty and staff, proud parents and grandparents, siblings, family members, alumni, friends of the school, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2026. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on this very special day. Today we gather to celebrate a remarkable milestone in the lives of our seniors. To the members of the class of 2026, I suspect that many of you may be feeling a mixture of emotions today. You're excited about what lies ahead. You're proud of your accomplishments, and rightfully so. You are perhaps a little uncertain about what comes next. And you may be even feeling a touch of sadness, knowing that this chapter of your life is coming to a close. I know it's true for me. And that's exactly how it should be. The most meaningful moments in life often hold joy and nostalgia together at the same time. They remind us that something important has happened here, that relationships have been built, memories have been made, and lives have been impacted, perhaps even changed. For our international students, John Bapst has been more than a school. It has been a home away from home. For our day students, it's been like a second home. You arrived at John Bapst from different sending towns, even from different countries, with different backgrounds, interests, talents, and aspirations. Over the years, you have challenged yourself in the classroom, on athletic fields, on stages, in musical performances, in labs, in dormitories, through service projects, and in countless conversations with your teachers and counselors and coaches and friends. You have celebrated victories. You've learned setbacks and discovered strengths you may not have known that you possessed. And along the way, you have become more than just high school students. You have become leaders. You have become teammates. You have become artists and scholars. You have become musicians, innovators, mentors. You've become citizens of the world at large. And your contributions have left a lasting mark on our school. Today is your day, and we celebrate it with you. As you know, none of this journey has been traveled alone. Today, we also recognize the parents, the guardians, the grandparents, the siblings, and loved ones who have supported, encouraged, and believed in you every step of the way. The sacrifice, the guidance, the patience, the unwavering commitment of your family and loved ones have helped make this achievement, this milestone in your life, possible. So on behalf of the entire school community at John Bapst, we thank you, parents and grandparents, guardians and loved ones. Students, if you haven't already found time to say thank you to your parents, even as Coach O encouraged you on Friday, take the time today. Take the time today to say thank you to moms and dads, to grandparents, to siblings, to members of your family who have helped you along the way. Even give them a hug. I also extend our gratitude to our own faculty and staff. Their dedication extends far beyond teaching lessons and grading assignments. They have inspired curiosity, they've nurtured confidence, they've modeled integrity and challenged students to strive for excellence. On behalf of the trustees and administration, a warm and heartfelt thank you to our faculty and staff. Graduates, the diploma you receive today represents accomplishment, but it's also an invitation to continue to grow, an invitation to continue to contribute and pursue a life of meaning and purpose, always showing compassion and kindness. As I tell my grandchildren, go out into the world, punch holes in the darkness, and let your light shine. Class of 2026, we are proud of who you are, grateful for all you've contributed, and excited for all that lies ahead. On a personal note, as I said in the beginning of the year, in all of my grief, you have been my Pena Seol. It's a Korean word. Your children can tell you what it means. You, the class of 2026, as well as faculty and staff, have made John Bapst a place where I found comfort in my grief, where I felt loved, where I knew if needed, I would be cared for. All of you have been a gift of God to me. So to all of you, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for a wonderful, wonderful year. It's now my honor to introduce my good friend, principal and academic dean of the student, Mr. Jason O'Reilly.
Thank you, Jay. To share a student welcome, please welcome to the stage Jason Choi. Hold on. Jason hails from Seoul, South Korea, and is the son of Moon Choi and Jung Eum. He is kind and respectful, with an unassuming presence that belies the competitor inside. In addition to being a distinguished graduate and an outstanding student with a transcript full of A's and AP courses, Jason is a state champion track athlete and a fantastic golfer. He will continue his studies next year at the University of California, Berkeley. Please welcome Jason to give the student welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. To the families, friends, faculty, staff, board members, and especially the graduates of the class of 2026. Welcome to the John Bapst Memorial High School class of 2026 commencement. I want to start by saying a Korean word that I haven't been able to stop thinking about lately. 인연. Honestly, there's no perfect translation in English. Some people might say it's fate or destiny, but neither of these words can fully capture its meaning. A quote from one of my favorite Korean movies put it this way. Imagine dropping a tiny needle somewhere on this earth. Then, imagine dropping a single grain of wheat from the sky and watching it drift all the way down until it lands perfectly on the needle. That probability, the one so small it basically should not exist. That's the same probability that brought us together here today. Out of all the planets in the universe, we are on Earth. Out of all the schools we could have attended, we somehow found each other at John Bapst. And to top it all off, that same improbable chance made us the class of 2026 and brought us to these exact seats at the Cross Insurance Center today. The friends sitting in front of you, the ones beside you, and the teacher next to us, we all met through those impossible odds. And those same odds allow me to make some special memories that I'll never forget. I'll remember the Period 5 multivariable calculus class where it always made my day with silly jokes. Surviving AP biology in my senior year after dropping it twice. Okay. Traveling to Boston for the New England Indoor Track Championship, and my personal favorite, which was lunchtime conversation with my best friend, where we would brag to each other about our fantasy basketball team. I thought it was just a normal day at the time, but now I realize they're the moments I'll carry me long after today. So, before you leave here today, I want to ask one favor. Take a moment to say thank you to the people who made those memories possible. To our families and friends, thank you for supporting us every step of the way. To teachers and coaches, thank you for always pushing us, trusting us, and showing up for us every single day. And to the class of 2026, take a second and look around this room. Everyone you see around you, you found them out of every person on this earth. And that is what we call union. Congratulations, class of 2026, and once again, everyone, welcome to the commencement. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. To share an international student perspective, please welcome to the stage Bob Huang. Bob hails from Beijing, China, and is the son of Zhensheng Huang and Shi Li. Bob is a distinguished graduate embodying excellence in not only academics, but also in many other parts of student life. He is a talented musician, playing different instruments in the concert band and the concert orchestra, and he's embraced the true American high school experience, playing for the John Bapst football and ice hockey teams. Bob will continue his studies next year at the University of California, San Diego. Please welcome Bob to give the international student perspective.
Good afternoon, parents, teachers, administrators, special guests, friends, and most importantly, the John Bapst Memorial High School class of 2026. My name is Bob Huang, and before I begin, I would like to thank Mr. O'Reilly, Mr. Brennan, and Mr. Reeves for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of our international students today. 4 years ago, I got on a plane in Beijing and flew to Bangor, Maine. When I arrived, I was nervous, but mostly excited. I didn't know anyone, nor what to expect. I had never experienced weather like this cold, and it seemed like everybody already knew each other. Walking into school for the first time felt like showing up to a party where everyone else has already been friends for years. I thought my biggest challenge would be learning English, and to be fair, that was part of it. When I first got here, I used to say thank you, more like thank you. My hockey teammates spent an entire season correcting me. I also thought I understood English pretty well until people started saying words like riz, drip, and 6-7. To this day, I'm still not completely sure what some of those mean. I also learned something very important. Apparently, if you call a truck a car, someone will correct you immediately, every single time. But looking back, language wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part was convincing myself to try new things. Like a lot of people, I worried about what others thought of me. I worried about fitting in. I worried about making mistakes. I worried that if I wasn't good enough for something, people would judge me. What I learned over the last 4 years is that people aren't judging you nearly as much as you think they are. Some of the best experience I had happened because I was willing to be bad at something first. I joined band. I started learning new instruments. When I first picked up bass, I was not good at all. But nobody cared. They helped me learn. Eventually, I got better. This year, I started learning saxophone. At first, I squeaked constantly, couldn't control my volume, and probably gave a few people headaches. Sorry, Mr. Richmond. But nobody told me to quit. They helped me to improve. Ben taught me that you don't have to be great at something to start. Sometimes you just have to start. Sports taught me the same lesson. I picked hockey back up after not playing for years. During my freshman year, I still mixed up people's names and faces, and honestly, I looked like a deer on the ice. I was still adjusting to a new country, a new school, and a new team. Then one day, I received my first MVP medal. I remember being surprised because, trust me, I certainly wasn't the best player on the team. I was still learning, still making mistakes, and still figuring things out. What that award meant to me wasn't that I was the best player on the team. It was proof that a group of people who had been strangers just a few months earlier had welcomed me into their family. That was one of the first moments when I felt like I truly belonged, and it wouldn't be the last. Another time, I couldn't make a hockey game because I was in the pit orchestra for a school musical, which is probably not the most common excuse for missing a hockey game. While the team was on the bus, they sang happy birthday to me and sent me a video. It may not sound like a big moment, but for someone who had arrived here knowing nobody, it meant everything. That's when I realized I wasn't just a teammate anymore. I was family. Football taught me the same thing. Tennis taught me that a score doesn't always tell the whole story. You can lose 6-0 and still fight for every point. Student Sandy taught me how to be a leader. Every activity taught me something different. But more importantly, every activity introduced me to people who helped shape who I am today. That's why when people ask me what I've learned from my time at Bapst, my answer isn't about academics, sports, or clubs. It's this. You don't find where you belong by sitting around and waiting for it. You find it by showing up. You find it by joining the club, trying the sport, starting the conversation, learning the instrument, stepping outside your comfort zone, and most importantly, by being yourself. I think that's something our class understands. We weren't always known for having the most school spirit, but somehow by senior year, we managed to come together and agree that putting a giant trampoline on the stage of our historical auditorium was an excellent idea. For a brief moment, it was the one thing our entire class could agree on. It caused what my creative writing class would call a brouhaha. And while Mr. O'Reilly may have some different opinions about that decision, I think it shows something important. It showed that despite our different interests, backgrounds, and personalities, we had become a community. As I look around this room today, I see the teachers who encouraged us, the coaches who pushed us, the friends who supported us, and the classmates who shared these 4 years with us. For that, I'm incredibly grateful. And now we're about to start over again. Some of us will stay in Maine, some will go across the country, some will go across the world. This fall, I'll be getting on another plane heading to California. 4 years ago, that thought would have terrified me, but not anymore. Because Bapst taught me something different, I'll carry with me wherever I go. It taught me that people aren't judging you as much as you think. It taught me that some of the best things in life happens when you are willing to try something new. And it taught me that if you're willing to be yourself and step outside your comfort zone, you'll eventually find your people. To the class of 2026, wherever life takes you next, don't be afraid to take chances. Don't be afraid to try something new. And don't be afraid to be yourself. You never know where it might lead. Congratulations, class of 2026. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Still not sure the trampoline was a good idea. To give the next speech, please welcome to the stage the co-salutatorian, Julia Scarano. Julia hails from Penobscot and is the daughter of Mark and Renata Scarano. Julia is a distinguished graduate and president of the John Bapst chapter of the National Honor Society, who, while being seemingly everywhere at once, has somehow managed to accumulate over 300 hours of community service. In addition to her exploits in the classroom, she is a fantastic runner and is active in many student clubs. Julia will continue her studies next year at Yale University. Please welcome Julia to give the co-salutatorian address.
Hello, everyone. Thank you to everybody who was able to make it here today. Our family, friends, faculty, staff, our special guests, and of course, fellow graduates. And also, thank you to the people who weren't able to make it here today and who have helped and supported us so much throughout the last 4 years. We wouldn't have made it here without all of you. When I sat down to write this speech, I spent a lot of time thinking about the message I wanted to leave you all with. And I realized that many of you may not remember this speech, the contents of my speech, within a few days or even a few hours. And that's okay, because we can't be expected to remember the many speeches we hear throughout the course of our lives. But then, I started wondering if I should even write a speech, because I could stand up here and do improv instead, and that would be really, really memorable. But no improv today, but this train of thought brought to mind a piece of advice that my middle school teacher once told me. He said, "People will not always remember the words that you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel." And fittingly, I don't remember exactly when he said it, what prompted it, or even if I got the exact wording right. But what I do remember was how his advice stayed with me. I came to the conclusion then that we have very little control over how people will remember us. However, upon closer inspection of that thought, I realized that it may only be half true. Because we can't control how other people view us, but what we can control is how we present ourselves. I know that I, along with many of my peers, have a tendency to want to present the best versions of ourselves and to appear as put together as we can be. Whether that means doing our best in the classroom, out on the playing field, or up on stage performing, we've all tried to showcase ourselves in positive and impressive ways throughout the last 4 years. But we all have good days and bad days, and we can't show up at 100% all of the time. And more importantly, that's not what people will remember about us. Your classmates won't remember if you had the right or wrong answer every time you raised your hand in class, but they'll remember that you were willing to participate and to contribute. At the end of the season, your teammates won't remember if you had one or even a few bad games. They'll remember that you were a good sport and that you always showed up to practice. It's okay to mess up. We all will, because we're human. And in the grand scheme of things, people won't remember us by our mistakes if we don't let those mistakes define us. People will remember us by our perseverance and our determination to keep trying. We'll be remembered by our actions, our care, and our dedication. So my message to the class of 2026 is to lead with purpose, integrity, and kindness, and to seek out those qualities in others. It's okay if what you say isn't perfect. What's important is that you care enough to say something in the first place. It's okay if you make mistakes. What's important is that you keep showing up, you keep learning, and you keep moving forward. And maybe you'll remember this speech, maybe you won't. But if you don't, I hope you'll remember that I stood here and I did my best. Because in the end, people won't remember us for the right answer, a show-stopping performance, or a good speech. They'll remember how we treated them. They'll remember the kindness we showed, the challenges we overcame, and the moments that we all shared together. So as we move out of this season of our lives, I hope we can all take some time to appreciate not just the things that we've accomplished over the last 4 years, but how we've accomplished them and how we've impacted the people around us along the way. So congratulations, class of 2026. It's been a really busy last 4 years, but we did it. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you for your insightful words, and thank you for representing the very best of John Bapst. Please accept this award in recognition of your status as co-salutatorian of the class of 2026. Yeah. And now it is my honor to introduce the chair of the John Bapst Board of Trustees, Dan LaMontagne.
Good afternoon. As Jason said, my name is Daniel LaMontagne, and it is a distinct honor and a privilege as chair of the Board of Trustees for John Bapst to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Joan Farini-Mundy, the president of the University of Maine. Dr. Farini-Mundy serves as the 21st president of the University of Maine and as vice chancellor for research and innovation for the University of Maine's system. Since assuming the presidency in 2018, she has helped elevate the University of Maine to the highest tier of American research universities, while championing its mission to expand opportunity, strengthen Maine's workforce, and drive innovation throughout our state. Her distinguished career has spanned education, research, and public service. Before coming to Maine, she served as the Chief Operating Officer of the National Science Foundation, one of our nation's premier scientific institutions. A nationally recognized leader in mathematics and STEM education, she has dedicated her career to helping students achieve their goals through education and, importantly, discovery. The connection between John Bapst and the University of Maine is strong and a growing one. For generations, many John Bapst students have continued their educational pursuits at the University of Maine, where they have become researchers, teachers, engineers, healthcare professionals, business leaders, public servants, and community builders. Both of our institutions share a belief that education is not merely about earning a credential. It's about preparing young people to contribute meaningfully to their communities and the world around them. As a proud graduate of the University of Maine myself, I know the firsthand impact that an institution like the university can have on a student's life, career, and future. As a fellow proud Maine institution, John Bapst sees the University of Maine as an important partner in developing the next generation of leaders for our state, possibly the world. Today, as all of you, our 2026 graduating class, prepare to take your next steps, we are fortunate to have the opportunity to hear from a leader who has devoted her career and life to learning, to discovery, and to expanding opportunities for others. So please join me with a warm welcome and an enthusiastic John Bapst welcome to Dr. Joan Farini Mundy.
Well, hello, John Bapst Memorial High School class of 2026, and all of the parents, classmates, families, and friends joining us here in Bangor or watching from somewhere else today. It's an honor to be here. I want to thank you for that honor. It's a privilege, and I would like to also acknowledge Chair LaMontagne, Interim Head of School Brennan, as well as all of the distinguished guests. Principal and Dean O'Reilly, I appreciate your invitation and your help in preparing for this. To Oran, Izzy, Julia, Yijin, Brody, and Bob, thanks for the time that you spent with me. What an amazing set of representatives of John Bapst Memorial High School's class of 2026. So I've known about John Bapst since I came to the University of Maine by hearing about the school from parents and families among our faculty and meeting students who were alums, and knowing that many of those faculty and staff had children who have come here. So the school is actually a recruiting asset for when we are hiring faculty and staff, and I'd like to thank you for being that. We share alums whose foundations started here, like Karen Boudreau, a distinguished attorney, and for whom Boudreau Hall at the University of Maine is named through her generosity. And Shane Harriman, Bapst class of 22 and UMaine class of 26, who found his way to participating in an international archaeological dig in Italy while he was a UMaine undergraduate. And we partner in many ways to our mutual benefit. Many of you are UMaine students through the early college program. We also partner in research. In 2025, for example, Bapst students Giuseppe Olisa, Michael Murphy's a teacher here, yes. Logan Hart and Ethan Marquis were co-authors on a scientific paper about the eye with UMaine faculty. And Michael Murphy was a tremendous leader in helping us with that and that collaboration. And I look forward to meeting all of you who are coming to the University of Maine in the fall. I also want to congratulate the entire class on your amazing plans for next year, which span really an impressive array of choices from gap years to joining the military, to working, to learning trades, and to pursuing higher education across so many outstanding institutions. Over my career, I spent a lot of time around high schools and high school students. I did my mathematics student teaching in a rural public school in New Hampshire, where less than 50% of the students aspired to go on to higher ed. I taught mathematics and coached soccer and lacrosse at St. Paul's School in Concord, New Hampshire. And I taught hundreds of first-year students, only a couple of months past their high school graduations, in first semester calculus at the University of New Hampshire every fall for many years. Add to that, having had a front row seat to the 12 years of high school that my own 3 children experienced in public schools in Michigan and Virginia, and I can confidently claim to have some knowledge of and experience with high school. I am convinced from what I have learned about this school and from talking to several of you that there is something special and unique about John Bapst, something that sets you, the class of 2026, up in unique ways for bright futures. First, you already know how to build your own path in a caring and supportive environment. I understand that if Bapst doesn't have a club that suits your interests, you can start your own. If you want to try a sport that your country doesn't have, like American football, at Bapst you can do that. You know how to ask your teachers for help and guidance, and they can spot when you could use it. You know how to lift each other up by tutoring or by being a kind friend or a contributor to an ensemble or a reliable teammate. You are a strong international community with all that that brings, and the international students know that Bapst is home, even if their other home is thousands of miles away. And there was a 2-student section of AP Latin this year. That's incredible. That made me think back to my own high school experience, where AP French conflicted with band for me. My French teacher met with me over her lunch break every day of my senior year. We need a special thanks to the teachers always. Class of 2026, your accomplishments here are outstanding, both the very public ones and others undertaken more quietly. Graduates have been champions in multiple sports, honored with performing in Maine All-State Music Festival. I was able to get to part of the orchestra concert this year, outstanding. Performed hundreds of hours of community service and have distinguished themselves uniquely. We have a licensed pilot and a designer of custom prosthetics here with us graduating today. And we have loyal friends taking care of each other, graduates helping their families in untold ways and more, and all of that matters. So I asked my own family what they wished they had known when they graduated from high school. I'm a little hesitant about this next thing, but I'm going to say it anyway. My daughter-in-law said, "It's okay to have fun at water parks even if all your friends think it's gross." I don't know what that means, but she's a teacher. I figured it was safe. Anyway, my husband said, "I wish I'd learned it's okay to ask for advice." Very wise. People love to give advice. You can always ask. And my daughter texted simply, "Human connection greater than symbol online." Human connection is better than online. I said to myself, I wish I had figured out earlier that college didn't need to look like a continuation of high school, where you hung around with the same friends you had in high school and took math, science, English, French, and history every semester. When I figured out no one was holding me to that pattern of the 5 subjects that I took every year in high school anymore, the world expanded. Taking sociology and learning about new ways to explain the people around you was fascinating. And later on, studying Russian and taking a course on short stories by a well-known writer of short stories, which for the nerdy math major that I was, opened up doors to a much wider world. Whatever you do next, there will be things to try that you never imagined. At UNH, occasionally, my first semester calculus students in a lecture hall of 300 would ask me what kind of notebook they should buy for our class, or confide in me halfway through the semester that they didn't know what office hours were for, or tell me they were terrified to ask me a question. But from what I understand about this place, you have learned a lot about independence, about agency, about forging your own way, and trusting teachers who care a lot. This extraordinary community and the experience that you take from it into whatever is next will set you up to be independent and confident, and it gives you a grounding that you will always have. However, I should let you know that unless you are very lucky, it won't be exactly like this everywhere you go. So I challenge you as graduates of this great school, or almost, you'll be graduates in a few minutes, to bring a little of Bapst to wherever you find yourselves. Specifically, if you find yourself in a place where not everyone is made welcome, or where people don't seem to go above and beyond to help each other, then you are prepared to find a way to introduce that kind of caring and that kind of culture. Find like-minded people and build it with them. You can't go wrong if you're promoting kindness and caring. So remember your roots here and how important it was for you to be in a place like this. You have what it takes to replicate part of this place. Which brings me back to the teachers, the special people who have chosen to make their careers here, where expectations go beyond teaching in the classroom. They coach sports, sponsor clubs, mentor and tutor, and get to know you well. They also help you navigate the challenges that come with being in high school, like managing your time, struggling with learning new things, and more. The teachers and the staff here are models. I'm not sure that you will always find lots of these kinds of people everywhere. But in my experience, there always are some wherever you are. Identify them, gravitate to them, continue to learn from them, ask their advice, and become like them. In the workplace, it might be a coworker or someone on your team. In college, it might be a professor, an advisor, a coach, a resident assistant, or a person who works in the registrar's office. There are always caring people who will go beyond, and all of us need them and need to be like them. I once heard a talk where the speaker, who had been a star on the TV show The Bachelor. Do you know that show? His name was Ben Higgins, I think probably well before your time. And he said to the audience in this place where I heard him, he said to the audience, "Every one of you is a leader now." Now, generally, there's probably not always a lot of wisdom from that show, but I found his comment interesting, and it's true. You're a leader now, already, every one of you, in some part of your life, whether you have that title or not. Think about it. if you're supporting and helping others to achieve what is important to them, or serving as a model, or starting something new, or trying something hard and not quite succeeding, but showing resilience. That's all part of leadership, so keep that going. So here come 3 pieces of advice. And I don't have the clever, well-known commencement lines like, quote, "If you think you are too small to be effective, you have never been in bed with a mosquito." That's Bet Reese. Quote, even if you are on the right track, you will get run over if you just sit there." Will Rogers said that. And if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. Admiral William McRaven said that. So those are out there. But here's what I do have for you. First, be who you are and grow at the same time. Not only have you gotten this far successfully, after all, you are graduating from an excellent high school today. You've gotten this far by being who you are. Being who you are is easier and less stressful than trying to remember how to play some other part. And if part of who you are needs to shift or change and you want to work on that, that's fine too. But you really can trust yourself the best, so build on the foundation you have. I have a friend who once said, "The first rule of lying is remembering what you said to whom." I'm not advocating lying in any kind of way, but you get the message. Being yourself is the most consistent way to maintain your integrity. Now, that said, sometimes you will find that to do well in some area requires stretching and being uncomfortable. I was recently explaining earnestly to a favorite cousin of mine that even as a university president whose job depends on talking to lots of people that I don't necessarily know very well at the time, I remain an introvert. And she laughed and she said, "No, you are no longer an introvert. You've actually changed." My kids do talk frequently of my work brain and my home brain. Apparently, I can maintain my analytic focus and intensity and still be silly and family focused. My second piece of advice, take some risks. Opportunity has a way of finding you. I say this as a person who tends to be risk averse. Opportunities will come your way that will surprise you. Like the time my husband and I had good jobs in New Hampshire, a house, and babies that were 3 and 1 years old. We lived near my entire family, and I got a job offer to go work in Washington, D.C. We dropped everything and did it. It was terrifying on so many levels. Getting used to the traffic alone was a challenge, but we made it work. The opportunities will come to you, Bapst graduates, because someone believes in you, or knows about you, or has heard about you, and points you toward a pathway or an opportunity, or opens a door. Often it will be a very good bet, and often it will be something you absolutely cannot imagine right now. Another way of saying this is don't try to plan and control everything. Let life happen. When I graduated from high school, I was certain that I wanted to be a high school mathematics teacher in the high school I attended. That drove all kinds of decisions I made in college. Not great, I'll add. I volunteered at that high school as an undergraduate student. I substitute taught there on university vacations. I stayed in touch with the teachers, and I asked to student teach there. I didn't, wiser heads prevailed, but I tried very hard. But when I was ready for a teaching job, there wasn't one open at that school. That possibility hadn't occurred to me in my careful planning. So I wound up teaching in a prep school where I lived in a dorm with 30 girls, was expected to teach on Saturdays, and had to coach something. Now recall the nerdy math self-image that I mentioned earlier. Unlike so many of you, it never occurred to me that I could excel on more than one track. So I was prepared to be quite annoyed until I found out that my wonderful teaching assignment in my first year of teaching high school mathematics was to teach both first-year algebra and third-year calculus and to be a coach. And that experience set me on a very different path. I realized I could not control what would happen to me, and that trying something I hadn't expected would really open my eyes, enable me to learn more, like the rules of lacrosse and Green's theorem about line integrals, and engage with a community full of people with broad experiences very different from my own. And my third and final piece of advice to you is remember to have fun. Perfection isn't required. I'm sure you get the idea, but let me try to give examples. You are a very accomplished set of people. And for those going on to college, you probably have enough AP credits to accelerate your graduation. Maybe that's a good idea. I actually did that myself. But maybe it's a better idea to pick up a second or a third major. Most of you are very good at doing many things at the same time. Or take a semester or a year off to do something else, to work in one more internship or a volunteer setting, or to start graduate school concurrently. You also don't need to be perfect. At the commencement at the University of Maine at Machias earlier this year, the valedictorian there, Rachel D'Alessandro, drew on her experience as a biology major to explain that evolution doesn't mean life strives evolution doesn't mean that life strives for perfection, but rather just being better than before. Keep things in balance. Stay connected to the people you've been with here at John Bapst. Keep learning, because that almost always leads to joy, and bring lightness to what you do. When my daughter was in college, she studied abroad at University College Cork in Ireland. She took a course on Irish culture, where, as best I can tell, most of the assignments involved going to pubs and writing reports on whatever music was being played there. Remember my nerdy math person side, I was aghast, but actually it was a good thing. So with that, John Bapst Memorial High School class of 2026, I want to conclude by congratulating you, by wishing you happiness and the chance to make your own definition of success, and remind you to remember your John Bapst and Bangor roots. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Farini-Mundy. To give the next speech, please welcome to the stage the co-salutatorian Izzy Fagoni. Izzy hails from Hamden and is the daughter of Michael and Julie Fagoni. Izzy is a distinguished graduate, and in addition to serving as secretary of the schools chapter, is the president of the State of Maine National Honor Society. As one of 2 AP Latin students at John Bapst, she has been actively involved in Junior Classical League. She also is a standout field hockey and lacrosse player. Izzy will continue her studies next year at Tufts University. Please welcome Izzy to give the co-salutatorian address.
Hello and welcome, distinguished staff, faculty, friends and families, and most importantly, the John Bapst class of 2026. My name is Izzy Fagoni, and I'm honored to be a small part of this momentous day. It feels almost impossible to say that the day is here, because it feels like just a couple years ago they gave us an email ending in 26 and we thought that it felt impossible. I simply cannot stand on this stage without acknowledging the people that got me here, my everyday inspirations, my mom, my dad, and my grandparents. I love you guys and truly don't have the words to thank you for your support that has gotten me here today. I also couldn't be here today without my friends and teammates. You guys made even the ordinary days into the best memories of my life, and for that I am eternally grateful. In grade school, I started a box where I would put all of my keepsakes. The latches are broken and the pink paint is rusty now, but opening that box means opening a window into my heart and soul. As I neared the end of my time at Bapst, I decided to sift through it. And to my great surprise, I found a very tiny envelope titled, "To My Senior Self." I actually brought it up here with me today, and I'd like to read you a bit of it. Hi, I am writing this on June 9th, 2023, aka my last day of freshman year. I'm not quite sure what I want to say, but I know I want to write to you. If you don't remember, freshman year was a whirlwind. I feel like this school is my home. Back in 2022 in 8th grade, which must feel like ages ago to you, it was rough. I never felt like I had a place to fit in. Here, I fit in and are welcomed for my talents rather than teased. I feel like this school is my home. Reading that line as a graduating senior hit me hard. Bapst has been a place for us to try new things and be unapologetically ourselves. Varsity athletes are also on the robotics team. Artists are also in JCL. Straight A students are also talented musicians and actors. That's what made this place feel like home. Not because we are all the same, but because we were all encouraged to be different. And as you leave this place, I hope you carry that same confidence with you. The confidence to explore every single part of who you are and never change yourself to fit someone else's idea of who you should be. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and pretend that I know all the answers. None of us do. But that's not scary, it's exciting. In the book of your life, you've merely brainstormed ideas by trying out clubs, doing UTC, or shadowing doctors. but the paper is still blank. This is the start of your story, and you are the one in control. I know each and every one of you, by making the choice to come to John Bapst, is prepared for the next step. Not at all because you know the answers, but because you know the process to finding them. You are driven, dedicated, curious, collaborative, and most importantly of all, relentless. Looking back at that letter, I realized something that my freshman self missed. Home wasn't just a place, it was a feeling. It was the feeling of being surrounded by people who believed in me and encouraged me to grow. And I'll tell you, growth is rarely comfortable. It might look like choosing a college, pursuing a passion, or taking an opportunity that scares you. One thing we've learned over these 4 years is that you don't need the answers to keep moving forward. As we move into a new chapter, we're learning to embrace uncertainty rather than fear it. Growth will never occur when you're comfortable. It's when you take a leap of faith that truly sparks change. So in the world, home isn't just a physical place. Some of you may think 100 Broadway is home to us, but in reality, it's the community of us sitting on the floor here today. And just know, you will always have a place in this community, and you will always have these 110 people rooting for you through whatever you choose to do next. Congratulations to the John Bapst class of 2026, and go Crusaders.
Thank you, Izzy, and thank you for being an outstanding representative of John Bapst. Please accept this award in recognition of your status as co-salutatorian of the class of 2026.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce to the center of the stage Interim Head of School Jay Brennan, who will award diplomas to our graduates. To help congratulate the graduates, he will be joined by President of the University of Maine, Joan Farini-Mundy, and Chair of the John Bapst Board of Trustees, Dan LaMontagne. We are assisted today by Caitlin Solari, President of the State of Maine National Honor Society. Come on up, Warren. Oren Sar. Isabella Fagoni. Julia Scarano. Jason Wonjun Choi. Bob Zien Huang. Braden Albert. Cheyenne Albert. Emerson Allen. Denali Anselmo. To present the next diploma, please welcome Chair of the English Department, Jennifer Babcock. Evan Babcock. Kylie Barker. Eli Barnes. Tiago Barrett Pereira. Grace Bartlett. Joseph Began. Kalia Billings. Grace Bouchard. Ian Boudreau. Megan Braveman. Mason Buxton. Shenling Jonas Chen. Samuel Chenoweth. Connor Cherry. Brighton Chung. Wyatt Kluke. Abigail Coleman. Jack Craig. Kirsten Daigle. Nadia Davis. Haley Dearborn. Camilla Dixon. Sophie Ekman. Zan Francis. Jack Freeman. Madeline Gallipo. Bella Gallant. Isabella Gallant. Zachary Gaudette. Jesse Grant. Daniel Green. Sophia Grindle. Stephanie Gualtieri. Colby Haggerty. Olivia Hagstrom. Blake Hancock. Elliot Irving. Boe William Ja. Jessica Sion Kim. Gavin Labonte. Sa Lei. Thuk An Lei. Peter Nguyen Si Phuc Lei. Cooper Lewis. Jinwin Daniel Liu. Liam McDonald. Rosa Maloso. Ava Marquis. Logan Martin. To present the next diploma, please welcome English teacher Mitch McCarthy. Maisie McCarthy. Emily McDonald. Allison McMahon. Sophia Mershan Fonseca. Addison Milligan. Jet Mitchell. Luke Monier. Weston Moore. Ryan Mavalia. Emrys Murnick. Elizabeth Murray. Thomas Trinan Nguyen. Addison Norman. Evan Okresick. Alejandra Oliveras. Hadley Oliver. Aiden Willett. Elise Willett. Rihanna Page. Landon Parker. Gabriel Pelkey. Annabelle Phillips. Aaron Pierce. Maggie Prentice. Archana Rajan. Tanner Robertson. Jasper Rossney. Charlie Rushmore. Brody Schreier. Ejin Saw. James Seymour. Kiki Joshi Shi. Aiden Schulman. Enrique Simoes. Annalise Smith. Logan Smith. Jackson Sockbeeson. Kiana Saucier. Colby Susi. Alexandria Stupakowicz. Owen Swayze. Jackson Toll. Tessa Tucker. Julia Turner. Mallory Walker. Meredith Walsh. Samuel Wardrop. Jacob Warren. Megan Whitehouse. Jocelyn Wilson. Morgan Wilson. Vicky Yuhan Shah. Thank you. Yes. Thank you to Caitlin for the assist. I ask all members of the class of 2026 to stand. Graduates, using your right hand, move your tassels from right to left. Mr. Brennan, Mr. LaMontagne, Dr. Freeney Mundy, and assembled guests, as the Principal and Academic Dean of John Bapst, it is my pleasure and privilege to present the graduates of the John Bapst Memorial High School Class of 2026. Congratulations. Please be seated. To give the valedictorian address, please welcome to the stage Oren Saar. Oren hails from Dedham and is the son of Michelle Lee Saar. He is a distinguished graduate who has quietly claimed the top academic spot in the class of 2026. Oren is quiet and reserved in nature, but is relentless in the classroom, striving for excellence at every turn. He has also been active in extracurricular activities at John Bapst, playing multiple sports, and even serving as a founder of the fishing club. Oren will continue his studies next year at Wake Forest University. Please welcome Oren to give the valedictorian address.
Good afternoon to classmates, teachers, family, staff, friends, trustees, and honored guests. When we look back over our time spent at John Bapst, I want everyone to pause to appreciate all the moments that brought us to this one. The good, the bad, the seemingly insignificant at the time. Some moments we hope never to forget, others passed without us noticing. This will not be one of those moments. This is our time to reflect on the memories and experiences that have brought us all together here today. Our family, friends, and faculty have also shared in those moments, and I'm grateful to have them with us here. I would like to extend a thank you to them as well, as none of this would have been possible without their support. The ones that made this time special, that are not here in body, I'm sure are here with spirit, and we should honor their impact on this moment as well. The collective hours of hard work and grit the class of 2026 has put into not only getting to this point, but exceeding it and achieving our own personal goals along the way is nothing short of incredible. However, in every school across the country, the graduation speaker could talk on the hard work that built up to graduation, but I don't think what we have built here at John Bapst is like every other school. And while I think our individual and collective accomplishments are impressive and do deserve praise, that is not what I'm most proud of over these last 4 years of my life. I believe the community that we have built together over these past several years is going to be what I look back on with the most admiration and what I think I will carry with me through the years to come. The coming years will take us all in wildly different directions to distant places and introduce us to entirely different people that we will come to call our close friends and even family. With so much change inevitable and coming at nerve-wracking speeds, the ability to look back on the people who have made us who we are and with whom we have built lifelong memories is what I will look back on most fondly. Bapst is a school that is made up of kids who all went to different middle schools, giving it the ability to bring people from not only across the state, but the world together into one small community. I think this unique opportunity to talk with people from all around the globe and share in their unique perspectives and beliefs is something we will all be grateful for as we venture off into the next chapters of our academic or professional careers. I am confident the unique perspectives, knowledge, and memories we have all been introduced to and formed will only grow to become more special as our community grows from this 3-story building on Broadway to the world of knowledge, experiences, and people we will meet in the coming years. I think that change is inevitably scary, but knowing I can look back upon the people who have made me who I am is nothing short of comforting. I would like to thank you all for that. As we go off, it is important to grow and learn and try new things, but I will always feel very fortunate to know that I can find camaraderie in the community we have built here together, and we will continue to expand upon in the coming years. So class of 2026, enjoy this moment, and congratulations. Thank you.
One more part to do.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Thank you, Oren, and thank you for representing the very best of John Bapst academic excellence. Please accept this award in recognition of your status as valedictorian of the class of 2026. Thank you. There you go. Oh, picture. One more picture right here. We have come to the conclusion of our commencement ceremony. To the class of 2026, you entered the Cross Center today as students. You leave us as graduates. We are proud of you. Please come back to 100 Broadway often and let us know of your future successes. To those in the audience, please remain in your seats until the last graduate and the faculty have left the arena. Thank you to the band under the direction of Ben Richmond for today's music. As is appropriate at this part of the ceremony and in keeping with John Bapst tradition, the graduates will lead the procession out to the green. They will be followed by the faculty and finally those of us on the stage. Families and guests are invited to join us outside, or if it is raining, here in the arena to say hello and to take pictures. Thank you all for joining us today, and congratulations to the class of 2026. Please rise. Jacob, take us out, buddy.